Art and storytelling are deeply human crafts, expressing through imagination what it means to live. When we monetize and mass-produce art, we run the risk of compromising its expression, or worse, dehumanizing the artist who create it.
Hayao Miyazaki, the world-famous Japanese animator, works against the dehumanization of artists and supports equity in the animation industry. Miyazaki was born in 1941 in Tokyo. His father was an aeronautical engineer and the director of Miyazaki Airplanes during World War II. Miyazaki grew up sketching airplanes, inspired by manga that emerged after the war. Miyazaki decided in high school that he wanted to be an artist. The 1958 animated movie Hakujarin, or The Legend of the White Snake, inspired him to pursue animation, and after graduating from university in 1963, he took a part-time job at Toei Animation as an entry-level animator.
Miyazaki soon learned that animators in Japan are overworked, underpaid, and given almost no creative freedom. In a 1988 interview, he called out the fact that, despite long hours, many people in the animation business are having difficulties in making a living. This still holds true today. 2024 data shows that the average animator in Japan works 50-hour weeks, which is 34% higher than Japan's national average. Some animators work as many as 80 hours a week. This leaves them no time for an extra job, and over 40% of them make less than 2.4 million yen per year, or only $16,000 US. Japan's national average is 65% higher. Their hourly pay comes to about $7.33, barely over the US federal minimum wage. By comparison, US animators make 5 times as much money, with median salaries around $80,000 a year. These conditions arose when animation became a mass-produced means of entertainment, with the number of shows ballooning and each one airing weekly episodes with unforgiving deadlines. As a result, not only were animators underpaid and overworked, they were forced to constantly cut corners and to simplify the soul out of their artwork, leaving them no room for innovation or expression. Artists like Miyazaki were dismayed. The profession they hoped would let them create art instead treated them like machines. Miyazaki said, "Compared to several works in the 1950s which inspired me, we in the 1980s make animation as if it's an in-flight meal served on a jumbo jet. Mass production has changed the situation. The true emotion and feeling that should be carried through have been replaced by a bluff, neurosis, or teasing. The craft that we should put our love into has been worn down in the piecework production system." In sum, although society enjoys the works animators produce, it does not treat them equitably.
During his time at Toei, Miyazaki joined the Animators Union and soon became its Secretary General, hoping to negotiate for better working conditions and pay. Miyazaki eventually left Toei because of the restrictions on his creative freedom. After some interim work in independent productions, he founded Studio Ghibli in 1985 with some other colleagues he had met at Toei. They produced the studio's first feature-length film in 1986, titled Castle in the Sky. The company's recognition, however, was caused by their successes with major films such as My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, and Princess Mononoke. People across Japan loved these films, and Totoro merchandise sold well enough to solidify the new studio's finances. Because of Miyazaki's masterful storytelling and animation, his 2001 movie, Spirited Away, became the highest-grossing film in Japan's history, beating out James Cameron's famous Titanic. Its success helped bring respect and legitimacy to the anime art form. Spirited Away then became the first anime film to win an Oscar in the United States, spreading anime's recognition internationally. The 2004 movie Howl's Moving Castle further increased Studio Ghibli's acclaim and popularity. Today, Ghibli movies are played yearly in theaters in the US, and in Japan, Ghibli has its own theme park. Over the decades, Miyazaki has never taken the role of an aloof boss, but is always hard at work among his other animators. He works long hours, but he does so voluntarily and for the love of his work. His movies show the magic that artists can accomplish when given creative freedom. And Studio Ghibli's success means they can pay their animators better than many other studios. In addition to helping improve the conditions, recognition, and pay of animators, Miyazaki also cares about other important social issues. Many of his movies, like Howl's Moving Castle, deal with the horrors of war. Others, such as Princess Mononoke, explore humanity's relationship with the environment.
Despite Miyazaki's efforts to change the industry, there are still many studios today that overwork and underpay their employees. This is possible because of the abundance of animators. If one leaves, another will take their place. Studio Mappa in particular is well known for their sweatshop-like working conditions. A post had surfaced on X where an animator for Studio Mappa had said, "I want to die quickly." This mirrors a larger issue that plagues not just the anime industry, but the working culture as a whole. Larger corporations especially are known for forcing the younger, less respected employees to take on longer hours than regulations allow for. The post from the Mappa employee displays a concept known as karoshi, translated as a death caused by overworking. Due to pressures from higher-ups at the studio, animators have been known to be forced to work for days on end. This isn't just a problem at Mappa, however. This is an industry-wide issue that will persist without any pushback. Although we can see that there are still issues in the anime industry, Miyazaki's influence has had a noticeable effect to counter these issues as well. Studios such as Kyoto Animation are well known for their efforts to pay their animators stable wages, which is much more desirable than the current industry standard. The animators at Kyoto Animation are also mostly in-house animators, which is a stark contrast to the majority of other anime studios which heavily rely upon the work of freelancers. We can only hope that visionaries like Miyazaki can continue to inspire change throughout the Japanese animation industry, and by extension, their work culture as well. Miyazaki spoke into a troubled society through his life and his stories. He once said, "Even in the middle of hatred and killings, there are things worth living for. A wonderful meeting or a beautiful thing can exist. We depict hatred, but it is to depict that there are more important things. We depict a curse to depict the joy of liberation."